may be seated. So last week, I tried to interest you in witchcraft and magic and all sorts of shamanic practices that our people have, and we forgot. And the most important thing is that we didn't forget that we forgot, and now we're trying to bring them back. Because there is a little bit of sense that we became too rationalized humans and that we have forgotten that there is a soul and a body that know way deeper and much better than our brain does most of the time. And that brings me to this week's Parsha. This week's Parsha has a female donkey that speaks and has a magician that wants to curse and blesses. So if someone was doubting the rabbi and her knowledge about witchcraft and magic and spells, this week's Parsha only brings us further into the conversation. Now, there are the last three parshiot, okay, are Shlach Lecha, when we send 12 leaders into the land to tour around and come back with a report. The parsha after that one was last week, Parashat Chukat, red cow, Moses being very upset with the people that are complaining that because they don't know that, but they complain because they're Jews. Okay, so like there doesn't need to be a specific reason. We just complain all the time. We complain, but this time around they were complaining because there was no water, and the reason there was no water was that Miriam passed away, and Miriam had the knowledge of where the sources of water were around the desert. She had that special connection with God. So the people are complaining, and God says to Moses, go and talk with the stone. And Moses goes and hits the stone, not once, twice. And on this week's Parsha, again, there's this king, okay, from Moab, who understands that the people that left Egypt are becoming a big number of people, and they're trying to get to the land. He's afraid that they will come and attack them. So he goes and calls this magician, a wizard called Bilam, who is very famous all around the world, knows all of the secrets. Even God speaks with him. He's not Jewish, but God speaks with him because God is not Jewish. God is the God of all creatures. I don't know if like that's in our minds, but anyway. And he asks him to go and curse the people because he's very, very, very afraid of what will happen. Little did he know that our people are forbidden to attack Moab. We can't attack Moab. God said, like, not against Moab. Okay. And our sages, and especially the mystics in their interpretation through the Zohar, say these three readings are all connected. They're very intelligent leaders, human beings with a lot of knowledge that actually have a connection to God, that think that they know what they have to do and keep on thinking, and they're very rational, and they are sure that they know exactly what needs to be done, and they make big mistakes, and they pay for it. Because they actually thought that they could hold the truth in their hands. Now, in Jewish tradition, we call that idolatry. We are not supposed to hold any truth as true. The only one who knows what the truth is is God. If we were able to say, like, I 100% I am right, there's no, like, I know exactly, then what do we need God for? And if you know, like, did God tell you that that's what's going to happen? The only thing that we know for sure is that God is one and everything is one and we're all connected and there's oneness. That's the only thing that we can say. And even in that, Jewish tradition will say 72 names, different ways of acting. If you say Adonai, you say one thing. If you say Elohim, you say another one. The Shekhinah is different. A Makom is a different God. So there's diversity within the oneness, but we can't hold anything true. Nothing. Okay. Interesting times in our world to remind ourselves that we don't know. And the more that we study and the deeper we go, and the more curious, as I tried to invite you last week to be curious about the things that you don't know and work for other people, because there might be something there, choosing a different path. So the more that we know, we realize how little we know, right? I mean, believe me, I keep on studying Torah and there's always a surprise. There's no end to wisdom and knowledge and trying and being. In Hebrew, especially as Israelis, there's a phrase that we like to say very much, and it is, Al tiyeh tzodek, tiyeh chacham. Don't be right, be smart. Don't try to always know and be right and go further and further just because you want to show the other person that you know better. Al tiyeh tzodek, tiyeh chacham. And when I was warming up for tefillah, I sang a nigun and I shared with those of you who were here earlier, from Sefer Yov, from Job, the prophet. There's a sentence that says, Irat Adonai I chokhmah, vesur mira bina. Okay. Fearing the eternal is intelligence. And refraining from evil is wisdom. Last week I said, Chok is mitzvot that we can't understand and God gives us. Mishpat is the one that we could rationally understand. Okay. Chokhmah is when you have like that first, like a raw insight. Bina is when you actually understood it, you like internalize that and you can see it in other places. Okay. So what is to act like, what is chokhmah? What is that kind of intelligence? Fearing God. Now, this is not the kind of fear like I'm afraid. It's a kind of awe, like acknowledging that we are nothing compared to the divine. And how do we become wiser? Staying out of doing bad things. Being able to discern between good and evil. I would like to leave you today with a poem written by Yehuda Amichai. Yehuda Amichai lived between 1924 and the year 2000. He is known as the great Hebrew poet. He's the first one who writes poems in modern Hebrew. And he had a very special, he was gifted. Yehuda Amichai speaks about the most difficult human experiences in a very personal way. And when you read him, you wish you would have written that piece. He has like that thing, like he gets us in many ways. And it's in Hebrew. And it's very, even though it's very secular, it's very connected to tradition. And he writes a poem called The Place Where We Are Right, and says, from the place where we are right, flowers will never grow in the spring. The place where we are right is hard and trampled like a yard. But doubts and love dig up the world like a mole and plow. And a whisper will be heard in the place where the ruined house once stood. מן המקום שבו אנחנו צודקים לו, יצמחו לעולם פרחים באביב. From the place where we are right, flowers will never grow in the spring. Shabbat Shalom.